do. I believe that it's easier to focus on sellers than it is to focus on buyers. Much easier. And I'm going to share with you why I believe 2025 is going to be the biggest opportunity for agents to create a massively successful business. The biggest opportunity for agents to create a massively successful business with a focus on sellers. All right, so we're at 11:03. First things first, I'm going to pull up let me pull up, share, pull up the PowerPoint, share it with you guys, slideshow it. Okay, so guys, if you're not part of our social media, I would love for you to scan this QR code. We share amazing information on social media. We share tips and tricks and things that can easily support you in getting more business. We also share inspirational things. We share facts, we share articles about certain directions that the real estate market's going in. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Where's the market headed to? So please scan the QR code and join our social media, and you will absolutely be excited about what you're getting on a daily basis. Okay, so here we are, 11:05. Okay, let's get started. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ophir. It sounds like fear with an O in front of it. And I started my career in the Sunset Strip with Coldwell Banker. So I was with Coldwell Banker in the Sunset Strip of Los Angeles. That's where I began my career in real estate. And so today we're going to focus on the ultimate success formula for real estate agents. This formula is something that I learned when I was a new agent. And at the same time, I've literally spent 20 years perfecting and about $500,000 of my own money getting better and trained so that I can support other agents in building their careers. And so they don't have to spend $500,000 to get to the same place that I had to spend $500,000 to get to. Okay, so just a little bit of background on myself. I'm not a big touter of myself, and I'll share with you why when we talk about consumers. So here's why I believe I'm the best person to support agents in their real estate growth. So when I started in real estate, I felt lost. I remember my manager saying to me, just show up. That was her advice. And by the way, I'm still friends with her to this day. She's an amazing manager. And at the same time, they didn't have a lot of energy or attention to spend on a new agent. So basically, I showed up and I felt really lost. So how did I go from there to becoming the #1 agent for all of Keller Williams in California within 2 years? How did I go from there to being the #1 manager for all of Keller Williams in Los Angeles? How did I go from there to managing Compass, Beverly Hills, and Hollywood with a combined $8 billion in transactions? How did I get from point A to point B? And that's what we're going to talk about today, because my belief is if I can do it, anybody can do it. And when I started in real estate, I could barely walk and talk and chew gum at the same time. I wasn't good at building rapport. I was the guy who was the wallflower at parties. And so I had to learn quickly, how do I build rapport and get people to work with me? So this is basically what I felt like when I got into real estate, all alone and lost. And I was doing real estate in California. This is a picture of New York. So that's how lost I felt. I felt like I was in New York when I was selling real estate in California. And this is not me, but I remember being on the Sunset Strip and going door knocking and having a really bad experience with somebody and then getting into my car and breaking down and crying and not knowing what to do, not knowing how to build the business that I wanted to build. And my goal was to support people, to help consumers. I was excited about it when I got into real estate. So I didn't know how I was going to be able to do that. And what I didn't know was, what are the things that are holding me back? What are the things that I don't know? And so the first thing I want to share with you guys today is something that not a lot of people talk about. So what is the role of our unconscious mind? The role of our unconscious mind is to protect us. And sometimes it works for us and sometimes it works against us. So where's our unconscious mind focusing on disempowering things and blocking us from seeing positive? For example, buyers are liars, right? It's a tough market. Sales is uncomfortable. I don't want to feel like a smarmy salesperson. You know, these are all things that our unconscious mind tells us to protect us. And I'll show you why. So everybody here, you have 2 million bits of information coming at you at all times. 2 million bits. How many do you process? You only process 126 bits of information out of 2 million bits of information. So what are the 126 bits of information that you guys are processing, that any one individual is processing? It's right where it says delete, distort, generalize. That's our lens, right? That's where we see things through. We all have an individual lens, and that was created by our experiences, right? We're all individuals. We all have separate experiences. Our lens was created by our experience. So what are the 126 bits that you're processing? It's only what you're looking for. It's only what your lens is looking for. So if your lens is in a negative place, then you only see negative things because that's what it's looking for. If your lens is in a positive place, then you only see opportunity. You only see what you're capable of, what options are there for leads for you, which are infinitesimal, right? There is more leads than any one of you could know what to do with. Does that mean the market's great right now? No, it doesn't. It just means that as individuals, we have that ability to control how we're looking at things. It's either the market's bad, so I have to do bad, or the market's bad. It has nothing to do with how I have to do business. Do I have to do less business? Absolutely not. Well, what are the bits that we're processing? And so what I came up with was our mantra at Real Momentum, which is feed your white wolf. So we all have a dark wolf and a white wolf inside of us, and they're constantly at battle. And the question is, which one wins? And the answer is the one you feed. So what I share with agents is you don't have to feed your dark wolf. Everybody else will feed your dark wolf for you. You have to want to feed your white wolf. You want to empower your white wolf. You want to be thinking about positive things and inputting positive things into your mind on a daily basis, because then your lens sees positive things versus all the negative things. So right now, most people are processing things in the negative space. And I can share this with you as a coach. You know, the last 3 cohorts that I've done, it took me 30 days to break limiting beliefs and get people to the point of neutral where they could start getting appointments on a regular basis. There's so much mind reading going out there, so much negativity that we're infusing into our conversations, into our business. And so when you stop doing that and you start feeding your white wolf, that's when you get into real momentum. Versus you can be in momentum and be going down the wrong path. And I've seen that a lot in real estate. So what are the 4 principles that we want to focus on? It's really simple. The first one is connection. It's rapport. It's how do we establish rapport with people, especially ones that we don't know well. Because if you have a past client or someone from your sphere, you have that relationship, you have that rapport. And do you want to just do business with people in your sphere? Or do you want to expand your capability and be able to work with everybody? That's our goal, is to be able to work with as many people as possible. And I want to share with you, people only work with you for one reason, because you're the best agent. I mean, because you have the most rapport with them, not because you're the best agent. They work with you because you have the most rapport with them. I'm sure some of you here are going, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because I always wonder, how do these bad agents get deals? Like, I don't get it, right? It's because people only work with you when you build rapport with them. Number two, the most important piece is, agents are taught how to work with buyers, how to go after leads, how to try to get business. What they're not taught is that they should only focus on sourcing sellers. We only want to focus on sourcing sellers because buyers will come from all different places, all different opportunities. Our energy should be focused on building our database with sellers that we can communicate with regularly, which brings us to the third piece, which is nurture. How are you nurturing these people? So I'll share with you really simple techniques on how to nurture a sphere, how to nurture a farm, how to nurture any potential sellers that you have in your database, and communicate with them every 90 days. See, what most agents, 99% of them, will do is what we call drip on people. Drip, 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 email, 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 and then wonder why they never call them when they are ready to sell their property or do a deal. It's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with them. The 90-day phone call check-in is magic, and we'll talk about it. And then the last one is, knowing your numbers. So we're at a place where business planning should happen. And by the way, we are going to do a business planning on November 20th, which you're all invited to. And we have our own electronic business plan that auto calculates exactly what you need to do week by week in order to get the business that you want to get. So what ends up happening with most people is they create a business plan for the year, and it's overwhelming and it's not broken down, and so you don't really use it. What we do is we break it down into week by week. What do I need to do this week in order to get the business I want to get? And then we can look at it when we have our accountability group and say, hey, if I didn't reach my numbers this week, what prevented me from reaching? And set intentions for the following week. These are simple things that actually need support. What I mean by that is this: not a lot of people are self-accountable. Most people in life aren't self-accountable. I am the biggest proponent of that. And it's so much easier to be accountable to an outside source, especially when they're your peers and you see that you all have similar limiting beliefs, similar things that are holding you back. It's empowering to know that and to support each other in growth. Okay, so let's talk about, I don't know why that keeps doing that. Oh yeah, because I keep hitting the wrong button. Let's talk about connection. So take a look at this, guys. This is the number one thing that real estate agents don't know. So where does rapport come from? Look at this. It's only 7% words. We think our words have to be perfect and spot on in order to engage and get these people to see my value and want to work with me. That's not the case at all. Rapport comes from physiology. It comes from the tonality of your speech. Words are only 7%. So we teach you these techniques simply and easily: how to mirror and match, how to support somebody by feeding them back exactly their physiology and tonality. Because once you do that, So here are just some ideas of, you have to know what's your client's submodality. So submodalities, are you visual? Are you auditory? Are you kinesthetic? So let's talk about an auditory person. If they're saying, if somebody's auditory, it means, oh, this property sounds like the property for me. It's that simple. That's auditory. So if somebody's saying this sounds like the property for me, and you're like, how does this property look to you? Are you building rapport with them? No. It's really simple in how we establish and build rapport with people. So where does rapport come from? It comes from postures, gestures, facial expressions, tone, tempo, timbre, volume. And then the words comes from predicates and keywords. So rapport is your first way of getting in the door. And the easiest, the simplest way to build rapport is mirroring and matching. So I want you guys to engage right now. So somebody tell me, what is the reason for mirroring and matching? Anybody want to share with me? Yeah, Elle.
Yes. Basically, the benefit of mirroring and matching is you're matching that person's personality so they feel like they could talk to you and relate to you. So if you're talking very fast tone with me, I'm going to talk really fast tone with you. If you're talking really slow, I'm going to talk really slow to you. I'm going to mirror your body gestures or like however you're standing. Just
Yes.
that way they feel more comfortable to speak to you.
It's literally what we call mirroring. You're showing them themselves in a mirror. So example, and Yael just said it beautifully. Imagine if you're talking to somebody from Texas, and I'm from New York, right? So I am going to be the fast talker. I am going to be that guy. But if I'm talking to somebody from Texas and I'm talking like this, 100 miles an hour, we're not going to have rapport. So I'm literally going to slow down my rate of speech and my intonation and have a little more of a drawl. And that's where you build rapport. But people don't share the second part, the most important part of building that rapport and mirroring and matching, which is what? Why are we building rapport and mirroring and matching?
It helps people to trust you fast.
Yes. And then it gives us the opportunity to take over the conversation and do what I call lead and pace them. See, the goal isn't that you're just some sort of parrot that you're mirroring and matching people. That's what people are teaching you. Oh, just mirror and match, mirror and match. No, the goal is to mirror and match till you feel that rapport. And then you can take over the conversation and lead and pace them. The only sure indicator of rapport is leading and pacing. So if you're leading and pacing them, they're going to follow your lead. So now I can take over and I can lead and pace where the conversation goes. That's the power of mirroring and matching. It's that simple and it's that easy. Number two, sourcing sellers, right? That's our goal, is only focus on sourcing sellers. So I'm going to show you some things here. So what are some seller sources? Geographic farming happens to be my favorite seller source coming up, and I'll show you why in a minute. Expireds and for sale by owners are the lowest hanging fruit right now. They are so easy to get appointments with. And I'll talk to you about how easy it is to get appointments with them. My agents get into appointments with expireds after 30 days. They're getting consistent appointments. Absentee owners, there's another great source. Open houses. As long as your intention and your focus is on connecting with sellers around the open house, it's a really powerful medium. And you can use it to focus on buyers, and you can use it to focus on sellers. I want my agents to use it to focus on sellers. And obviously, you should be able to communicate with buyers as they come through. Distressed properties, they're coming up. They're starting to rise. We're starting to see a lot more in the distressed property world. My favorite, guys, I tell my agents all the time, duplex and fourplex is no one is focused on duplexes and fourplexes. And the ones that do usually gain a lot of traction, especially in the market that we're in. There's a lot of people that need to sell. There are a lot of mom and pops that got hurt during the pandemic that can't continue to hold on to the place and have to get out from underneath it. That's a great source of listings. Developers is a great source. And we're going to show you exactly how to communicate and connect with them, and they respond to you. For rent by owner. Is anybody here calling for rent by owners? One of the lowest hanging fruits right now is for rent by owner, because you're going to get one of two things. You're either going to get the listing as a rental, high-end rental, or they're going to say they don't want to rent it anymore, they want to sell it. And you'll get the sale of the property. And there's a lot of for rent by owners who are on for rent, but they're not sure whether they want to rent or sell. And most higher end leases come through agents. That's why they'll respond to you. And if you can show them how you're going to get them exposure, they'll list with you easily. Number 10, I left open. Anybody want to share another source of sellers? There's so many of them. Anybody else?
I'm starting to see a lot of baby boomers, like, that generation is either
Brandon,
passing away or passing their properties on to the kids who don't want to hold on to it anymore.
thank you so much for bringing that up, Brandon.
Yep.
Baby boomers are going to be our biggest source of sellers.
Exactly.
Where do baby boomers communicate? They're not on the internet. They believe in real communication, in authentic face-to-face, or pick up a phone and call them and then go over to their house. They absolutely believe in authentic conversations, and they're open to communication 1000%. It's going to be the biggest source of sellers that we have moving forward. So you got to know where we're going to get our sellers from, so you know, how do I interact with them? How do I get the most traction with them? And that's one of the reasons I think taking over Geographic Farms is going to be easy, because those people are going to be moving, right? They're either going to give it to their children who might want to sell it, or they might be selling and moving. Anybody else? I mean, there's so many places to get sellers from. I won't harp on that. But I'm going to show you something right now. So nurture, that's the third pillar. It's the nurture. It's the one I see people do the least. And I'm going to show you something really simply. So nurture means an action plan, right? A follow-up plan with that person. So what are the things that you should do when you're nurturing someone? It's two simple things. It's a quarterly market report and a monthly newsletter. That's how you nurture them, with a 90-day check-in. The 90-day phone call check-in is where the magic happens. So an action plan for geographic farming: first, you contact, phone call, email, social media. Then you email them a package about you. We teach you guys how to do pre-listing packages, how to do listing presentations, so that they're the most effective possible, the right formula, the right setup. Day 2, call them, make sure they got your package. We already have action plans for our agents that are built out for geographic farming, for their sphere, for expireds, for sell by owners. One of our goals is to provide our agents with as much tools as possible so they can focus on building relationships. Day 4, send them market info, create a sense of urgency. So here's just a simple action plan for a geographic farm. And the last thing is knowing your numbers, which is really simple. How do you have to know your numbers? How many calls do I need to make in order to get one contact? How many calls can I make in an hour? How many contacts do I need to make an appointment? So the national average is, out of every 100 people you talk to, you'll get one listing. That's the national average. 100 new people that you talk to, you'll get one listing. So I'm going to show you our numbers, right? Our goal is to contact 5 sellers a day, and at 5 sellers a week to your database. So out of every 25 people you talk to, 5 will give you their contact info and say, stay in touch with me. So imagine adding 5 people a week to your database in a farm. That's 200 sellers you've added in 1 year. And I gave you 2 months off, by the way, because it's 240 over 12 months. It's 200 sellers that you're now calling every 90 days. Do you understand how powerful that is? How much business you're going to get from that? That's the big component, is the 90-day check-in. And so if you're going door knocking, for example, we're going to show you how to get pertinent information from them. So when you do your 90-day check-in, you have something to talk to them about, whether it's their children in college or their dog named Boo or their green shutters, right? As you're connecting with them, whether it's on the phone or door knocking, you're getting pertinent information that you can then build rapport with them on. So here's a simple business plan. So if your goal is $250,000, just make sure we're on time. If your goal is $250,000, I'm going to show you something right now. That's 12 and a half sales. That's 1 sale a month. Now, it should be easy to do 1 sale a month. Why isn't it easy to do 1 sale a month? Because we get pulled in so many different directions. We have so many things coming at us that it's very hard to stay consistent. It's very hard to create the right habits. When you create the right habits, which for me, just so you're clear, is 5 contacts a day. When you create the right habits, the business is going to come in spades, big time. That's when you're going to get into real momentum. So look at this business plan. It's 312,500 is the gross commission, right? But it broken down into how many contacts do I need to make? It's only 6 contacts a day. That's it. Now I know this is what I need to make. Now, if you're making 5 contacts a day and you're role playing and you're getting better at your conversations and better at your objection handling, then you're going to be getting listings easily. And not only that, you'll end up getting 1 out of 50 instead of 1 out of 100. The better you get, the better your ratios get. So here are just a few examples. I just made this up, so 25% of my business, I want to come from just sold. What's just sold? It's circle prospecting. That's still a geographic farm, right? It's still calling around to sell. Absentee owners, door knocking. My personal favorite thing in the world is door knocking. I'm going to tell you right now that you can't stop a door knocker from taking over a neighborhood. You can't stop a door knocker from taking over a neighborhood. It's that powerful. When I show them how to do it, it's that simple and that powerful. So now I'm going to talk to you about how do you put these 4 pillars together and make sure that this is the focus of your business. This is how you're operating on a daily basis. So I became the #1 listing agent within Keller Williams in California in my 4th year of business. And it was by following these simple rules, these simple formulas, and building my business with sellers. So other people are going to tell you this. You can't be a listing agent at the beginning of your career. You have to focus on buyers first. You're not going to do a lot of business at the beginning of your career. You should join a team. Listings are really, really hard. You should find somebody who's good at it and work for them. That's what other people are going to say. If you want to overcome frustration and feeling lost or overwhelmed like I did, you want to learn how to build connections, have a lot of appointments, and create wealth for you in sales like I did for myself, then Real Momentum is the right place for you guys to be. So what is Real Momentum? Just so we're clear, I've been doing training for real estate agents for 15 years. And what I've learned over that time is I prefer having group coaching. It's so much more effective than individual one-on-one coaching. When you bring agents around their peers and they all have the same intention and the same energy, it's magical. And they're committed and supporting each other. Now, there's two things that need to happen, right? Skill set training for real estate, and even more importantly, mindset training. Because one of the things that coaching is about is moving people forward. And what it doesn't address is the limiting things that are limiting us, the things that are limiting us. So the goal with Real Momentum is not only address the skill set, but address the mindset of what may be holding us back. How do we empower ourselves? How do we strengthen our mindset on a regular basis so that we are confident in everything that we're doing? So we have a combination of mindset and skill set training with accountability and role play. And I'll talk about that in a minute, which is how you get into momentum, how you get into setting appointments on a weekly basis, taking listings on a weekly, monthly basis. How do you move past the things that are limiting you? How do you move past your limiting beliefs? It's really simple and easy. You know, the answer to that question is the number one rule for transformation is self-awareness. Once you're aware of the things that are holding you back, then you can easily address them. But a lot of times we don't even know what's holding us back. So we're going to get you into more commissions. And our focus isn't on commissions. It's on helping consumers. It's on having authentic conversations with people. Because when your focus is on helping the consumer, the commissions will come in spades. But right now, I see such a trend of real estate agents being taught to just try to get deals and not understand what the consumer's goal is, not create a client for life as we do. It's to just get a deal and get commission. And that, by the way, people can feel off of you. So with the right guidance, an agent can easily get $250,000, $500,000. The first agent I ever coached in my career was in the Keller Williams Sunset Strip office in 2007, and he made $250,000 his first year in real estate. It's not complicated. It's just you need a guide to take you there. So how do you go from no appointments to as many listing appointments as you want? Right now, I'm in a group with my agents, teaching them how to not take listing appointments, which ones to avoid. When you have a plethora of abundance of leads, you pick and choose who you're going to work with. That's the ultimate goal. So if you're ready to capitalize on 2025, which I happen to believe will be the biggest opportunity for agents to build successful real estate businesses in. If you're new, brand new in sales, if you've been in the business for a while and you want to focus on listings, you have more buyers than listings. Or if you're a listing agent and you want to create momentum and start to get 4, 5, 6, 8 listings a month, this is the place for you to be. So now I'm going to talk to you about our membership, which I'm very excited. So we've created a membership program. We have 2 levels. The first level is movement. The second level, which is what I want to focus on today, is momentum. And I put together an offer for everyone here that I think will be enticing to you. because we're going to give you the entire momentum for free. So all of the training from momentum, if you sign up for, if you sign up for momentum, we'll give you all of the movement self-guided training modules, plus the 15 self-guided training modules in momentum, geographic farm immersive training, month-to-month customizable business plan, weekly live objection handling with me, daily vlogs every single morning, 2 real estate trainings a month. One is going to be skill set with me, and one will be mindset with our NLP trainer, who's one of the top NLP trainers in the country. Her name is Deanne, and she's absolutely incredible. I do daily role play every morning at 7:30 a.m. with my agents. I have weekly mindset. Deanne has weekly mindset office hours. So if there's something that's holding you back, she can easily help you overcome it with techniques, with tools that she has. And I have weekly real estate office hours for anybody that wants to bring their transactions, their questions, their strategy. It's a great opportunity to connect with me. And then every month I break down an article for your newsletter, because I believe that we need to educate sellers right now. A lot of them are thinking the wrong things. I believe there's a lot of sellers waiting for the market, the interest rates to go down to jump into the market, right? Which, if they all jump in at the same time, is not going to be a good thing. So I break down every month a different article that talks about the market, that talks about where the market's headed, and then you can include it in your newsletter. So here are some of the individual modules that you're going to see. We have listing presentation, buyer consultation, door knocking, open houses, geographic farming, direct mail and newsletter, SMART goals, rapport, buyer inspection, boundaries, reframing, values in UVP. How do you use your values to create a really successful business? Business planning, objection handling, expireds and FSBOs. What's your real estate avatar? Who do you look like as your perfect real estate agent? And lead gen practices. How do you maximize your lead gen? How do you make sure you get the results from your lead gen? So this is how it looks when you join the membership. And you're literally going to have videos, short videos, and tools, PDFs, or action plans like we talked about in every single training. And the goal is to start with the foundational training, which is your sphere training, and then move up into people you don't know. One of the things I see agents do the least is call their sphere. And it's because they're not taught the formula of how to do it the right way. So you can engage with them instead of feeling like you need to take a shower after you call them, right? And then, okay, so here's the offer. So we have a weekly numbers tracker, 7 self-guided training modules, weekly accountability group, and access to the movement membership. Am I missing one of these? There we go. Okay, so we've got 7 self-guided training modules. The weekly accountability group alone is worth $6,000. There's only 10 people in a group with me. That's it. So every week you're in a group with me and 10 of your peers, holding each other accountable and supporting each other's growth. We have a numbers tracker that you will get emailed every single day so you can report your numbers so that you get into the right habits of making your contacts, reporting your numbers. And all of that is going to be for the 2970, 2970. Let me go back one. So I put this all together for $29.70. Where does $29.70 come from? Well, the membership is $297 a month. If you sign up for the whole year, you're going to get 2 months off, and you're going to get the accountability group, and you're going to get the numbers tracker, and you're going to get all of the modules from the movement training, which is level 1. So they're going to be given to you anyhow. And this is the last thing I want to share with you. I don't know if you guys have watched Friends. Some of you may have, some of you may be a little younger. But I remember when I was 20 years old, my best friend asked me to help him move a couch. And he had money. So it was a very expensive couch. It was a $10,000 couch. And it was the middle of the summer, and it was New York, and it was hot. And I really didn't want to do it. And at the same time, this was my best friend. So I wasn't going to say no to him. And so I got there, and we took the couch and we started walking up the stairs with it. And it was so heavy. We got half a flight, literally. And the couch got jammed in there. And we're pouring sweat and trying to move this thing. And it's not going anywhere. So eventually, we had to break the couch down. We literally had to break his $10,000 couch and throw it in the garbage. And so the question I want to pose to you is, do you want to carry a $10,000 couch up 10 flights of stairs on your back? Or do you want to hire somebody who's an expert? And that's what I did for myself that created so much of my success. And that's why I want to support agents in creating massively successful businesses focused on consumers. I believe that every agent deserves to be successful, deserves to have a business that they're proud of. And more importantly, deserves to work less and make more money every year. When you set your business up right, as you're moving forward, you can work less and make more money. And that's the goal at Real Momentum. So that is the end of our presentation. 11:46, perfect timing. So if you're interested, Edgar's going to put a link in the chat for you to sign up for Real Momentum. If you still have questions and you want to talk about it, please schedule a 15-minute consultation with me. You can go to the website, realmomentum.com, and you can schedule a 15-minute consult with me to talk about where your business is at, to talk about, is this the right program for you? My goal is to support agents creating massively successful businesses in the next few years. And there's no better time to lead generate than November and December, because every other agent disappears. I made so much money in November and December because all the other agents would disappear. Perfect. Does anybody have any questions?
Thanks, Ophir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ophir.
Thanks, Yael.
Bye.
Bye. Does anybody have any questions? Anything they want to bring up, talk about? The most important thing for you guys to invest in is what? It's yourself. That's where I succeeded, was by investing in myself, not in some programs to get me leads that I didn't have to pay for, or that I had to pay for. Not trying to buy leads, not trying to buy programs that are supposed to get me business. It's investing in yourself.